All right, so the first thing is we're just going to start out with doing a Google search. This is where you want to start if you're evaluating your own brand or you're evaluating a competitor. In this case, we're going to review Morgan & Morgan, which is one of the biggest personal injury law firms in the country. They work in multiple states. They do a ton of on and offline advertising, and they actually do very well with SEO in a lot of locations. So the first thing is when you Google the brand here, what you can do is click on these three little dots, and it's going to open up this window where you can do more about this page. And here you can start to see what Google knows about this brand. So they have a Wikipedia page, which is really good. It shows that, you know, this is clearly an authoritative company if they have their own Wikipedia. When it was founded, who it was founded by, and this information here is coming from the website in their own words. And it tells you here that it's coming from their domain. Reviews on the web. So this is a good place to see what sites Google is placing the most emphasis on when it comes to reviews. So in this case here, for example, you can see that the Better Business Bureau, if you're doing this for a competitor and you see that they have a listing here and you don't, that's like a hint, right? Google telling you that, hey, this is a listing that we consider to be one of the most important, which is why it's here. Now you can scroll here and see more. But yeah, you want to make sure that as much as you can that you have a listing. Yelp, Trust Analytica, all of these are places where if you can, you should have a listing. Okay, next thing here is results from the web. So this is where Google is getting the signals. This could be backlinks. This could be just mentions. You can do show more here and we can take a look. It looks like most of these are articles that have been written about Morgan & Morgan, because you can see that it's in the title here. This one doesn't. The real reason a law firm decided to vandalize its own billboards. So we could open that up here and take a look, and there you see that they have a link going to their site. So this is a good way, if you don't have third-party software to do this, a good way that you can start to see like where either your brand or a competitor is being mentioned on the web, and get an idea as to what links or what websites Google is considering the most relevant and the most authoritative for the industry. So, okay, let's close this out here. And the next thing I wanted to show you is user experience is something for SEO that Google is putting more and more attention on and more weight on how a website ranks. So the best thing, if it's for your own website, the best thing to do is to use Google Search Console. And in Google Search Console, you can see what pages, if there's any sort of core web vital issues. And the core web vitals, these are metrics, basically to gauge how the user experience on your site is, how fast your site is, how responsive it is. But if you're doing this for a competitor like we are here, I put in the homepage, and this is evaluating the mobile version of the page. Now there's two sections. There's the discover what real users are experiencing, and then so this is the field data. This is real users, and then this is diagnose performance issues. This is lab data, right? So you can see here you may have different numbers. So you may be failing in this area here and passing in this area here. So really, it's just looking at when it comes to how Google is evaluating and what it's using for SEO and for rankings. It's this information here. It's how real users are experiencing your website. Now, technically, they do have a failed score here, but if you look at the different data points that Google is using, nothing is in the red. I mean, they have a couple here in the yellow. So as long as it's not like a ton of stuff here in the red, like the only time that Google is going to have any real problem and that they're going to demote the ranking of your website is if it's egregiously bad. If it's an egregiously bad website as far as user experience, that's when you're going to have a negative impact to your rankings. If it's something like this where most of the stuff is in green, some of the stuff is in yellow, it's fine. You don't have to like nerd out on technical SEO when it comes to this. We can look at the desktop version. Obviously the desktop version is a lot faster. The other thing is I'm looking at the homepage, which a lot of times the homepage has a lot of images, a lot of videos. So it's not uncommon that you have a lower score on your homepage. I already have internal page here open, so let me just try this one, which is a location page. And here you can see the location page actually passes. Everything is mostly in the green here, but it gets a passing score on mobile for what real users are experiencing. The lab data here is taking a while to load, but yeah, desktop and mobile, all good. So you just want to take a peek here, especially if this is something that you're doing for your website, and make sure that you don't have any technical problems when it comes to user experience that is going to impact the performance of your site. All right, so we can close this out here. We're going to come back over to the homepage for Morgan & Morgan and really just start our on-page evaluation here. So the first thing is, as I mentioned, this is a national firm. So one of the mistakes that I see some attorneys make is that they have offices in multiple states or even multiple cities, but their homepage is targeted towards a specific location. So the title for Morgan & Morgan's homepage doesn't mention anything about a location. It's America's largest injury firm. And again, if you look at the page title up here, I'm trying to get it to show, and it's not cooperating with me here. So it's Morgan & Morgan, America's largest personal injury law firm. So basically a replica of what their H1 is. Then you want to have stuff that is good for building trust and getting people to actually call you or fill out your contact form. So a good value proposition here is to get a free case evaluation. They have it right there at the top of the page as seen on, so some credibility here. Then they have the opt-in form, the phone number, everything above the fold. I don't have to scroll down or anything. I can just either fill in my information, know who they are, know what they offer, get to know a little bit about as far as their credibility. And right here, if I wanted to, I can call or I can fill out the form. So then a video here. Video is really good when it comes to attorneys. People want that personal touch. If your website is just full of stock images, that's not a good thing. If you have real images, that's good. If you have video where you can show some of your personality, that's even better. So scrolling down here, they're talking about the results, case studies here. Again, more results here. So really driving home the point of, hey, we get results, right? This $40 million settlement, what to expect working with them to submit your claim. We take action, we fight for you. So broken out into steps, also very good. You lay everything out in simple 1, 2, 3. They got videos here. So again, video is always more powerful. You can have reviews, you can have testimonials, written testimonials, but nothing is more powerful than somebody actually getting on camera and speaking about their experience working with you. This is really good here for SEO purposes. You can see that they're linking to their internal pages, their practice area pages. And for the sake of SEO, you want to try to get as many links within the body of your homepage, because your homepage is the most authoritative page on a website. And the way that Google will evaluate links is they place more weights. They know that any links that are within the body of the page are more important than any of the links that are in global areas of the page. So for example, the header and the footer section, this is on every page of the website. Whereas here, if you're placing links within the body of the page, these aren't static, right? Like every page is not going to have this template. Every page is not going to have these internal links. So linking internally from within the body of your homepage to your most important pages, whether they be practice area pages like these are here, or they can even be location pages. If you have specific locations that you really want to rank in, you want to try to get links within the body of the homepage over to those. All right, so speaking of locations, they have this drop down menu here and their top level navigation. I actually already have a internal location page open to do a quick evaluation on. So now, contrast to the homepage that they're not targeting a specific location. Now, when you're talking about your internal pages and your location landing pages, you definitely want to be targeting a specific area. So in this case here, you can see that they're targeting Tampa with the title and the H1, having personal injury lawyer Tampa. Scroll down here to the content. Now, if I'm nitpicking here, I want to say that what they can do is diversify the term, because they have personal injury lawyer in the title in the H1, and then they have it here in this H2. They could take advantage of a variation of the keyword here and use attorney instead of lawyer. So we actually have a template already built out. We've done all of the research when it comes to what Google is expecting on every type of page for an attorney. So what it's expecting for the homepage, what it's expecting for a location landing page like this one is here, what is expecting for practice area pages, specific types of cases, car accident attorney, truck accident attorney, in whatever city. So they've done a good job here of starting off with what we call the sympathetic ear, talking about they understand your situation. They talk about their firm, when it was founded. Again, really good stuff here to start off with. And so this is from the homepage. We've seen this before, the 1, 2, 3, the settlement here, videos. So this section here is carryover from the homepage, but now they start talking about specifically the cases that were settled in Tampa. So again, the more location specific information that you can inject into the page, this is what's going to build that location relevancy that Google wants to see when it comes to ranking or knowing what page it's going to rank in the SERP. And you can see that they have a ton more here if you show more. So using stuff like this where you have a collapsible section where you can expand it with a button, it's really good, because what it does is it doesn't appear that there is a lot of content on the page, but there actually is, right? If you look at the HTML of this page, all of this stuff is on there, right? Because this is just being hidden with JavaScript. But if I disable it, it's going to have all of this information on the page right from the beginning. This next section here, again, they're using internal links strategically. Now they're linking to all of their practice area pages in Tampa, car accident attorney. You know, they have a near me. So this is where I would say they start getting a little bit too aggressive, where they have a car accident or car crash lawyer page, and then they have a car accident lawyer near me for Tampa. That's dumb. You know, like, you should not have two pages that are essentially saying the same thing. Then, you know, they got more areas here, show more, serving these neighborhoods. So I like what they did here, because what I see a mistake that a lot of attorneys make when it comes to building out these location pages is they'll build out a specific landing page for the tiniest little city, the tiniest little town, and you don't have to do that. Something like this here, where they're mentioning the different areas or neighborhoods within Tampa, is fine. They didn't build a page for all of these, because what ends up happening is your website becomes thousands of pages. And actually, building landing pages for areas where you don't actually have a physical office could be detrimental. It could be something that Google considers to be doorway pages. So you don't want to have thousands of pages. You don't need to build a landing page for every little tiny neighborhood or town. You can just do something like this, where they mention it. So really, the purpose of this is to try to build as much location relevancy as possible. Then they have an FAQ section here where you can get a lot of juicy SEO content. Again, they're using these accordions here where you can collapse the content to make it look as though there isn't a ton of content on the page. Because, of course, you want to keep these practice area pages, these landers, looking as condensed as possible. You don't want to make this look like a blog post where you just have a ton of words on it. Although this page, they've just used JavaScript very strategically, where they make it seem as though there isn't a lot of content on here, but there actually is. There's actually a lot of content that Google can crawl and start to build a topical relevancy for personal injury, lawyer, and the location of Tampa. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the attorney pages, which is a lot of times I see that it gets overlooked, but this is actually really important, especially for professional services like an attorney. So, you want to talk a lot about here, listed cases that this particular attorney has won. You go into the biography here, the recent wins, the practice areas, the education, the memberships, the experience. All of this stuff is really good to build up what Google calls EEAT, which is essentially just the trust and the authority that it has based off of not the brand, but the people behind the brand. In this case, it's the attorney. And I pulled up here this page inside of, this is schema.org. So this is metadata that you add to the page that gives Google more information. This is stuff that isn't visible to the user, but is visible to search engines. And you can see here that they've used the legal service schema, and here they're listing Matt Morgan, right? They're listing his personal bio, they're listing his Facebook, his Twitter. So this is all particular to this particular attorney. So getting this information, it's really important on your attorney pages. Again, this is something that we spend a lot of time on because we know the importance of this. A lot of times I see attorneys that you look at their attorney page and they're not linking to any of their memberships or their experiences or their awards. And it's just missed opportunities to be able to really show Google that you are legitimate. Okay, the last thing I want to show here is this is more looking at offsite factors. So Ahrefs, it does a lot of things, but one of the things that it does tell you is a domain rating. And a domain rating is basically their metric system for how authoritative they consider a domain to be. Now, this isn't an official metric that Google uses, but it gives us a good idea. It gives us a more or less an estimation of what sort of ranking ability the site has. So, a 70 is really high. And for, Morgan and Morgan, of course, they're a national brand, so we would expect it to be high. But when you're looking at the competitors in your own market relative to your website, this tool here is really good to give you an idea as to where you stand. And it actually gives you, if you click on backlinks, it'll actually list out where all of the backlinks are. You can sort this by domain rating. So you can take a look at which are, here you got the Wikipedia, which are the most authoritative links that the site has or that you have. So, all right, I think that's a good place to end it. If you have any questions or you would like us to do an evaluation of your website, get in contact with us. This is what we do every day, all day, and we'll be happy to help. And hope this video helped you out. Take care for now.